yours came out and didn't come out, but John Amos said coming back to America. What he said about the man with the drug, with all that Jericho stuff in his hair.
Yes.
But listen, we'll be back. And Shannon, I hope that you are able not to break through when we start dealing with the indictments, so you can go through those indictments and we can talk about them together. Okay? We'll be back with Jennifer laying out the indictments, the charges against Donald J. Trump. Boy. Oh, before we do, I got to tell you this. In the New York Times News, it said in an article when he went to Little Havana to the restaurant, after the indictment, he went through there and shaking folks' hand and everything. And he went in and said, dinner on everybody tonight. Everybody get dinner. Right, yeah, he gonna pay for it. And he left and didn't even pay.
This is Straight Talk with it live on the Greg Fann, the preacher man, and his sidekick Shannon Jones. Frank discussions of issues affecting the ATL, Fulton County, the state of Georgia, the nation, and around the world. And now, here they are, live and in living color, the team of Jones and Fann, the Preacher Man.
Well, welcome tonight to another edition, tonight, today, tomorrow, whatever it is, whatever day you get this, because we do it and we send it out sometime. We send it out on Friday, but it's pre-recorded. We want you to know it's pre-recorded, okay? So Shannon and I are here tonight. And first of all, let me just say this before I get started. Thank all of you. Thank you, Jermaine Ralph. Saw him today who said he enjoyed a straight talk, enjoyed the podcast. Shannon, we're seeing so many people in the street that's saying to us that they're enjoying straight talk. And they said, and we thank you so much for your comments and for what you're saying and telling us to keep doing the good work, Brother Eddie Lee Brewster, and giving us things that we might want to even consider to talk about on Straight Talk. But tonight we talking about y'all.
Because we don't never know what to talk about. We just don't know. We to talk about. So y'all call in because we don't never know what to talk about.
But tonight we talking about them. Jermaine Ralph and Eddie Lee Brewster. We talking about you tonight. No. But thank y'all so much for being on there and just letting us know that, just watching us and then sharing with your friends some of the things we're talking about. Thank you so much. I enjoy doing this program with Shannon because it is a joy for myself at my age and to have young Shannon with me, Big Papa, the father of Samuel, and to be with me each and every week to just share two men of God sharing from our hearts what we believe. And sometimes we have various opinions. Sometimes Shannon's going left and I'm going right. Sometimes I may be going left and he may be going right. But we're gonna try tonight to go straight down the road. How about that? Hey Shannon, wake up over there. You look like you sleep, man. Wake up. Did you freeze yourself or something?
So
like
Bishop, I had to cancel. I had to end my Bible study tonight because I kept freezing, and I don't know if it's a storm or what it is, but it keeps knocking out connection. I had to come up 3 times tonight, so I don't know if we're gonna be able to tape tonight because I don't know if the storm or what, but it's just gonna start freezing.
Well, let me ask you a question. The storm of life is raising. Just ask the Lord to stand by you. It'll be all right.
All right. So if I freeze again, he's standing by me, but I'm freeze. Because it did it 3 times. I was hoping that it wouldn't do it on this, but I was noticing that you were starting to picturate a little bit.
Well, don't worry about it because I'll carry it through, and then you just come on back. How about that? Listen, we're gonna get ready to go to Mississippi. We go back to Mississippi. Technology is technology, and it is what it is. But we're gonna go on through with the program tonight. Tonight we have some interesting things for you to talk about. We're gonna talk to you, and I know you're sick and tired of hearing about it, but we're gonna talk about it. The indictment of Donald Trump. We're gonna talk about what those indictments were. We're gonna talk about having Bill Barr, his attorney general, who served with him, who said he was wrong and he committed basically that crime. And it was his fault. He had nobody to fault but himself because he did it. did not turn those documents in once they requested them, and they gave him ample time to do it. Boy, that was interesting. But you'll hear from himself. You'll hear himself say that. Well, we'll be back on the other side with Miss C, and then we'll come back with Shannon and I. And then after Miss C, we'll have Jennifer. She's going to go over the documents in terms of the indictments. We'll talk a little bit about those indictments. And then we'll go to Mr. Barr. And we'll wrap the show up tonight. Thank you so much. Hey, tell a neighbor, tell a friend to tune in to Straight Talk with yours truly, Greg Fann, the Preacher Man, and Shannon E. Jones. And share it. Share our program with your family and your friends. All right. Hey, Shannon, it's time for who? Miss C. He froze again. Go ahead.
Hi, Miss C here with your 3-minute news blast. Hey, Bishop Greg. Hey, Pastor Shannon. Hope you all are doing well. And I hope that all of you out there that are viewing this broadcast, I hope you're doing well also. Listen, I just had a message that came right up in front of my screen. Okay, I hope you didn't see that. But anyway, on June 21st, you're invited to a 55-plus mixer for retired professionals at the Epicenter. They're at 135 Riverside Parkway in Austell. There will be fun, food, and fellowship from 11 to 2 on the first floor food court. To RSVP, you need to go to eventbrite.com and RSVP there, or you can give Epicenter a call. I didn't get the number, I'm sorry. Anyway, the city of South Fulton invites you to its free Juneteenth celebration on June 18th from 10 to 2 p.m. at the Wolf Creek Amphitheater. Let me say that again, at the Wolf Creek Amphitheater. They're at 3025 Merck Road in South Fulton, Georgia. Bring your lawn chairs, blankets, and small coolers. That's all that will be accepted. There's going to be spoken word, food vendors, arts and crafts, live music and entertainment, a kids zone, a carnival, and fireworks. And they're going to have some celebrities out there too. So it's going to be a grand occasion. That's June 18th. Okay, First Corinth Missionary Baptist Church, where the Reverend Dr. E.L. Jones is pastor, at 2165 Donald Lee Hollowell Parkway in Atlanta. They're inviting you to their Station of Hope networking event, and that's June 17th from 10 a.m. until noon. First Corinth Missionary Baptist Church is now a certified Station of Hope, where the newly released returning citizens can come and receive services that will provide you and your family's comfort. At the networking event, they're going to have information on housing, health care, employment, education, veteran services, training, financial literacy, crime prevention, and multi-faith initiatives. Give them a call if you want more information at 404-792-2319. And listen, I'd like for you to do 4 things for me. I'd like for you to subscribe. I'd like for you to like us and send comments. And listen, share Straight Talk News. Let everybody know that Straight Talk News with Greg Fann and Pastor Shannon is here. And of course, don't forget now, Miss C. Okay? And you'll be glad you did. Greg don't like for me to say that. He says I think I'm grandstanding, but you know, I'm just excited to be Miss C because I am Miss C, right? Okay? We'll see you next time. Bye.
All right, Shannon, we're back after Miss C, and Miss C again talking about seniors. See, that's what happened last week. See, you talked about seniors. And the program for seniors, where seniors can come and get assistance and get help and be contributors in society. We are seniors. One day, Shannon, you're going to be a senior. One day.
I'm not a senior yet?
Nah, not quite. Not quite. But you're on your way. You are a papa. You're a daddy. You're on your way.
Hey, my boy is sleeping through the night now. I don't know what to do.
Oh, really?
Like John Amos said in Coming to, I don't know.
Well, I tell you, no, I don't know what all John said, but whatever he said, yours came out and didn't come out. But John Amos said coming back to America, what he said about the man with the drug, with all that Jericho stuff in his house.
Yes.
But listen, we'll be back. And Shannon, I hope that you are able not to break through when we start dealing with the indictments, so you can go through those indictments and we can talk about them together. Okay? We'll be back with Jennifer laying out the indictments, the charges against Donald J. Trump. Boy. Oh, before we do, I got to tell you this. In the New York Times News, it said in an article when he went to Little Havana to the restaurant, after the indictment, he went through there and shaking folks' hand and everything. And he went in and said, dinner on everybody tonight. Everybody get dinner. Right, yeah, he gonna pay for it. And he left and didn't even pay for it. It told the people gonna buy their dinner and then walked out. Lord, how much, ain't that a scandal and a shame?
Meet him at the Capitol.
Do what now?
He meet him at the Capitol. He told him, if you beat the man up, you'll pay for the legal fee. Folks won't stop listening to Trump.
They need to stop listening to him. But we'll be back on the other side after Jennifer.
Lining 37 charges against former President Donald Trump for mishandling classified documents after leaving office and then blocking the government's attempts to try to recover those documents. Included in the 49-page indictment, Trump is accused of breaking 7 laws, including 31 counts of willful retention of national defense information, counts of false statements and representations, conspiracy to obstruct justice, and withholding a document or record. The indictment says information Trump took with him when he left the White House included, quote, information regarding defense and weapons capabilities of both the U.S. and foreign countries, U.S. nuclear programs, and potential vulnerabilities of the U.S. and its allies to military attack. Also highlighted in that indictment 2 instances in which Trump allegedly shared classified information with people not allowed to receive it.
Not allowed to receive it. He shared it with people who shouldn't have even gotten it. I mean, really? I mean, he didn't care about this country at all. I mean, he really didn't. He doesn't. He really doesn't. And those indictments, Mr. Smith, Attorney Smith, who brought those indictments against him, has shown us that this man, who has done so many things, so many things. The beat goes on, as the song said. The beat goes on. It goes on and on and on and on. But he's done so many things that he really feels that he's above the law. I mean, he really feels that he can do whatever he wants to do, and ain't nobody gonna do nothing about it. Nobody. It's sad that we've come to this place that it is what it is. And Shannon, I had much conversation about this. This whole thing of these people on the Republican side holding on to this man who, and obviously that they know, has done something that's really egregious. Because nobody's saying that he's innocent. But they're still trying to say that, when they're trying to bring Hillary in, they're trying to bring other people in. They did it so he ought to be able to do it. No. They didn't do what he did. They asked Trump, gave him 1 year to turn those papers over, and he didn't. Then he got an attorney that said that was everything. And it wasn't. I mean, you saw pictures of boxes of stuff. And Shannon, I don't know why you didn't check that stuff out before he left. And you were the one telling him to pack him and get out. What happened?
We were so busy trying to get him out of there. At one point, we packed up 2 or 3 of his grandkids because we didn't know. We were just moving fast to get him out of there. We had to hurry up and get him out of there because Biden was, he didn't go. Had to have his own program, and Biden was over on the Capitol steps, and it was just, we had to hurry up because soon as he finished, he coming home to his house. Trump's still in there, so we were moving pretty fast. But I mean,
But
all this stuff was supposed to be turned over. All the documents were supposed to be turned over to the National Archives, weeks before. Well, so you shouldn't have certainly had stuff in the bathroom over at Mar-a-Lago. We're able to see, but let me just say this: that there was information that said that was labeled no form, which is not for releasable foreign nationals, classified information that said sensitive, compartmented information, secret information that said confidential, was classified as if the unauthorized disclosure of the information reasonable could be expected to cause exceptionally grave damage to national security that the original classification authority was able to identify or describe. Now, Trump gave an interview at Mar-a-Lago.
Go ahead on, Shannon. I'm sorry. We cut my phone off. Go ahead on.
That'll be the Lord calling on straight.
No, go.
All right, now.
Anybody might call while we're on Straight Talk. Might be Trump.
All right. You're right about that. So listen. So here is an interview that Trump gave. Let's see. Discloses classified information. Trump gave an interview at Mar-a-Lago, and so in May of 2021, Trump called some of his boxes to be brought to his summer residence at Bedminster Club, like the Mar-a-Lago Club. So Bedminster is up in New Jersey. Mar-a-Lago is down in Florida. After Trump's presidency, the Bedminster Club was not an authorized location of storage, possession, review, display, or discussion of classified documents, like Joe Biden's garage wasn't either. But when it was found, it was turned over for Biden. Trump, we know, argued that he had the right that he no longer had the right to have it. So on July 21st, 2021, when he was no longer, Trump gave an interview in his office at the Bedminster Club, that's up in Jersey, to a writer and a publisher in connection with a then forthcoming book. Two members of Trump's staff also attended the interview, which was recorded with Trump's knowledge and consent. Before the interview, the media had published reports that at the end of Trump as president, a senior military official, the senior, quote, military official, unquote, purportedly feared that Trump might order an attack on country, and that the senior military official advised Trump against doing so. Page 33 of the charges says, upon greeting the writer, publisher, and his staff, Trump stated, "Look what I found. This was the senior military official's plan of attack. Read it and just show it's interesting." Later in the interview, Trump engaged in the following exchange. Trump, well, with the senior military official, let me see that. I'll show you an example. He said that I wanted. Isn't it amazing? I have a big pile of paper. This thing just came up. Look, this was him. They presented me this. This is off the record, but they presented me this. This was him. Wow, the writer said. Trump. We looked at some. This was him. This wasn't done. All sorts of stuff. Pages long. Look. The staffer said. Wait a minute. Let's see here. The staffer laughed. Yeah. I just found it's that amazing. This totally wins my case because, except it's like, staffer, yeah. Trump, secret. This is secret information. Look at this. attack and Trump. By the way, is Honorable Stafford? Yeah, Trump. I was just thinking, because we were talking about it, and you know, he said he wanted to attack Country A, and what? Stafford, you did? Trump, this was done by the military and given to me. I think we can probably, right? Stafford, I don't know. We'll have to see. Yeah, we'll declassify it. Stafford, figure out Trump, see, as president, I could have disclassified it. Stafford, yeah, Trump. Now, I can't, you know, but this is still a secret. Stafford, yeah, Trump, isn't that interesting? At the time of this exchange, the writer, the publisher, and Trump's two staffers did not have security clearances or any need to know any classified information about a plan of attack on Country A. In August of September 21st, when he was no longer president, Trump in his office at Bedminster, with a representative of his political action committee, the PAC representative. During the meeting, Trump commented that an ongoing military operation in Country B was not going to representative a classified matter.
Hold it, Shannon. Hold on. I think we get the point. I think we get the point. What Jennifer was saying. Here's this meeting going on, and all these things are being discussed, and they're laughing about it, as you said. And they're looking at stuff they shouldn't even be seeing. They shouldn't even have any information about it.
Check this out. Move the show. But check this out. The restroom that the documents were in, because they were in the ballroom, the restroom, I mean, they're all over, down in Mar-a-Lago.
Right.
It's right off of a place where they play poker. It's not like the lab in your office with all the steam showers and all the stuff that you got there. You know what you got. This is the public restroom that you make me go use when I'm down at your office, the one that said color.
Yeah, okay.
That's the public restroom. That's the public restroom that all these top secret docs. So now this was putting stuff out and showing folk and then putting it back. But anybody could go in that restroom.
Anybody can see.
You know, man, why you keep going to the restroom? You got a bladder problem, something, man. You need to go see your urologist. Something wrong with you. No, they going in there, and the government's top secret documents are not declassified. They were not supposed to be in Mar-a-Lago. They're supposed to be in Washington, D.C.
Well, Shannon,
he would have to get that from the National Archives.
Shannon, anybody could have taken one of those documents, put it in their jacket or wherever, and displayed it anywhere to anybody else.
And they got that boy in jail, the little racist hater. They done arrested him at the park somewhere, caught him, and got him in jail. A low-level Air Force boy that was talking to some stuff. He did much of he was talking about classified, and they got him getting ready to go do some serious time.
Right. But listen, we need listen to what Mr. Barr said. We done heard what you said, Shannon. Let's see what Mr. Barr says. Let's see what he says about this. What he say
about this chief argument that comes up for the president's allies and his legal team that this should have been handled under the Presidential Records Act, not this Espionage Act charge and other federal statutes that were used here?
Well, it started out under the Presidential Records Act and the archives trying to retrieve documents that Trump had no right to have. But it quickly became clear that what the government was really worried about were these classified and very sensitive documents. I was shocked by the degree of sensitivity of these documents and how many there were, frankly. And so the government's agenda was to get those, protect those documents and get them out. And I think it was perfectly appropriate to do that. It was the right thing to do. And I think the counts under the Espionage Act that he willfully retained those documents are solid counts. Now, I do think we have to wait and see what the defense says and what proves to be true. But I do think that even half what Andy McCarthy said, which is if even half of it is true, then he's toast. I mean, it's a very detailed indictment, and it's very, very damning. And this idea of presenting Trump as a victim here, a victim of a witch hunt, is ridiculous. Yes, he's been a victim in the past. Yes, his adversaries have obsessively pursued him with phony claims, and I've been at his side defending against them when he is a victim. But this is much different. He's not a victim here. He was totally wrong that he had the right to have those documents. Those documents are among the most sensitive secrets that the country has. They have to be in the custody of the archivist. He had no right to maintain them and retain them, and he kept them in a way at Mar-a-Lago that anyone who really cares about national security, their stomach would churn at it.
So you see this as different and separate from what he would term the Russian hoax, what we saw from the Durham report. You see these as two totally separate tracks.
Yes, because in the Russian, there was nothing. There was no problem or issue underlying the Russiagate claim. It was an effort to knock him out with a false claim. Here, I think the government acted responsibly. They gave him every opportunity to return those documents. They acted with restraint. They were very deferential to him, and they were very patient. They talked to him for almost a year to try to get those documents, and he jerked them around. They finally went to a subpoena, and what did he do? According to the government, he lied and obstructed that subpoena. And then they did a search, and they found a lot more documents. And they're not even, I don't think they're even sure now whether they have everything. So they acted in a very patient way, and what they were met with was, according to the government and the indictment, very egregious obstruction.
That's what you just said, Shannon. That's what you just said, Shannon. That's what you just said.
The documents have to go back to the National Archive. Everything goes back to the National Archive. Then the National Archives releases what can go to your personal library, what you can take. When you are the President of the United States, you are the property of the United States of America. You are sworn to protect the country against all enemies, foreign and domestic. You are an agent. You might be the most senior agent of the United States of America. But everything that you have there is work. You don't see people that work at Burger King walking around at church with their uniform on and walking around everywhere with that uniform doesn't belong to you. You can't quit Burger King and walk around with a Burger King uniform on. You can't quit the police force and walk around with the Atlanta police gear on and badge on. You can't walk around. All of that you wore when you were an agent of Burger King, when you were an agent of the Atlanta Police Department, when you were an agent of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. But in that capacity, Mr. President, then you're now a private citizen. And a private citizen doesn't have classified information. You get a classified report that comes to you, but you don't leave the White House and decide that you're going to take. You might as well, why don't you take the couch and the bed and the Lincoln bedroom, which, I mean, take the Lincoln bedroom, that to the property of the United States government. Well, guess what? Every document that you had as president of the United States of America, the only record that we historically have of your presidency is the day-by-day, minute-by-minute log of information that happened, both classified, declassified, and unclassified during your administration. what goes back? Everything goes back. And then your team, when they're ready to build your library, go and petition for information to bring it to you. But you don't decide and you certainly don't leave with classified. Listen, Jared Kushner didn't have, was it Jared that couldn't get that didn't have a security clearance?
Clearance, right, that's right. He didn't get it.
And he was the president's son-in-law, but we don't have a title in the U.S. government, son of the
president, yeah.
Of the president, son-in-law of the president. Yeah. So he was an advisor to the president, but when that information that I was reading to you and about, when that information was discussed, Jared was nowhere in the room because he didn't have the clearance to have that information. But it speaks to something else, Bishop, and we can go back and give it back to you. It speaks to Trump's notion that there is Trump and the United States, and that he personalizes, and everybody is always against Trump, against Donald Trump, against his Fred Trump, his father, against the Trump legacy, against the Trump. So this corrupt country is going to come for me. And if I don't have this paperwork, if I ever petition for it, they'll never be able to find it. So I have to take it, and I have to take it. Well, why did you have all that paperwork? So that I could build a case. So that I could build a case to protect myself, so that I could write books, so that I could do whatever it was that I could do against what narrative was coming at me. I was arming myself for a war that in Trump's world is going on against him right now, being marched, Judgment Hall, from there, from New York to Miami, and then to Atlanta, and then looking for other places to do him as well. So he was arming himself. He brought that information for a reason, and it was fool-headed to keep that information when for a year the archives was trying to get that back.
I think Mr. Barr said it best. This man who worked for him as his attorney to protect. He said he was wrong. He was wrong. He was wrong. He brought this on himself. Now, the issue that I have now, we're going to move away from this in terms of his guilt or innocence in this, but we're going to talk about the Republicans Party, those that are coming to his rescue, knowing that they don't believe that he didn't do nothing wrong, but they're saying that y'all just coming at him. He said this is not a witch hunt. What they're saying, this is not a witch hunt. They're not coming at him as a witch hunt. They're coming after Donald Trump. They're coming at the crime that he committed by taking those secret documents. That was the most egregious thing that he could have done, was taking secret documents and having all those boxes of documents scrolled everywhere that anybody could get it at any time to get the United States classified secret information. That's what that was about. We have got to move back to this whole thing. This party politics is messing this country up. It's messing this country up. We need some people who are concerned about the people, who are concerned about the welfare of this country, and who are concerned about the people who pay the cost for this country, the taxpayers. Not just because I'm a Republican, not just because I'm a Democrat, but because I am for what's best for the American people. We are for what's best of the American people. We have got to find people who are running for office that, like it used to be, that could cross the lines, aisles, and deal with bipartisan things and quit all of this rally behind people when they're wrong. When they're wrong, they're wrong. And when you're wrong, you got to, when they say when you dance to the music, you got to pay to the piper, right? So if you're wrong, you're wrong. And they got to stop upholding people in their wrongness, because the only thing that they're doing is they're showing that evilness in them, that spirit of corruption in them, that you would want to protect someone that you know that done something as egregious against America as this president, former president, has done. As this former president has done. I mean, over and over again, one crime after another crime, one accusation after another accusation. Accusation before he went in, accusation when he came out. Accusation, but this accusation is too serious for anyone to want to say, we're going to protect him, we're going to fight for him because he stands for our issue. If you stand for corruption, then he stands for your issue. If you stand for doing wrong, he stands for your issue. But if you stand for justice and doing what's right, then you will understand that nothing is right about this, what we're talking about now. All these secret classified documents in all of these rooms, every place, anywhere. And who knows? And Mr. Barr said, who knows that they got all the documents? We don't even know that. We don't know what all that has been, that he has kept. We don't know. We don't know. But the reality of it is,
I like your soapbox. I want to stand up there with you. But now, would they turn around now and say that when Clinton was in office, and the conversation was that there was an attack on Bill Clinton, it was case after case of things that was brought against him, and
I'm gonna stop you right there. Yeah. They can say what they want to say. We're talking about now. We're talking about what is happening right now.
Wait a minute. I understand we're talking about now, but now you see, and Democrats fall in love, so they're lining up right now, and the same thing that you're saying now. Democrats did. I mean, when we say evil and all that, well, they could say that the Democrats were equally as evil when Clinton was doing what he was doing, and others, and we should. And right now there is this with straight talk. Right now there is this laptop situation. About this, I don't know what's on his laptop. But there's an argument that there was a cover-up, that publications and that news organization covered certain things around Biden until after the election was over, and so there's a whole fight. So.
You kick my dog. You kick my dog, so I'm gonna kick your cat. I hear what you're saying, and I'm talking about what we need to do. I'm talking about what we need to do as American people. I'm talking about what we need to do as American people. Whether they're Democrats, whether they're Republicans, whether they're independent, whatever, we have to find people who care about this country, who really sincere about this country, and sincere about the welfare of this country. That it was created that all men are created equal, and that all men should be endowed with certain powers. Yes, that's the America I'm talking about, the America that really cares about the people who are going to be there, that's not going to be lying and scheming and conning and gaming and trying to get rich themselves and they're getting richer and the poor is getting poor and not looking out for the least, the less, the lost, and the left out. We need to elect people who really fear God, who understand who God is and what God can do, and who's actually really in control of these things. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about yesterday. I'm talking about right now, what people need to start focusing on and stop electing and running behind people for $1, because they can give you $1, or they can do this for you, or they can do that for you. But how many people get hurt in the whole scheme of things? We have got to get serious as American people, black, white, Asian, Hispanic, Haitian, whoever that's in this, Indians, whoever that's in this country who vote. We have to make sure that we're electing people who really care about the interests of America, God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her. That's what we need to do, is find those individuals to serve, whether they're male or female, black or white, whatever they are, but they really care about this country, and they really care about the people who live in this country, and looking out for, as the Bible teaches us, the least, the less, the lost, and the left out. I'm not condoning anybody's wrong, whoever they are, whether they're Democrat, whether they're Republican. I'm not condoning anybody, but I am dealing with what's before us right now, because this is the boiling point. This is the boiling point. We got to turn this thing around, and it ain't gonna turn around unless we get bold enough and speak out of God. Sin is sin, right is right, and wrong is wrong. And whether you're Democrat or Republican, if you're right, you're right. One thing that we know, Shannon, we know this, and we're going to end this in a minute, because I'm really looking at history. When we were Republicans, when black folks were Republicans because of Lincoln, and black people were Republicans, and they came into the Republicans, and they were Republicans. Then when Kennedy came on the scene, and then Kennedy started doing things that were benefiting black people, creating programs, and black folk became Democrats. But then, now listen, I want you to listen to me good. Then what we had was people who were Republicans, because they saw that Democrats was winning, they left the Republican Party and they put a D by their name. And the same thing, those people who were Dixiecrats and all of when they saw the Republicans win, they switched over to the Republican Party. Zigzag Zell, the former governor of the state of Georgia, the former U.S. Senator of the state of Georgia, Zigzag Zell, who was a Democrat, ran as a Democrat to become the lieutenant governor of the state of Georgia, and then he changed over to be a Republican. So I mean, we got to stop this and start electing people not because they got a D or R by their name, but because they really care about this country and they really care about people. That's my 2 cents on that. And that's what I feel about it. That's what I believe. And that's what we need to do. And we don't need to just be electing people because they're black either. We're going to elect black folk. We're going to elect black folk. We're going to elect Hispanic folk. We're gonna say, but if you ain't looking out for our interests, you ain't fighting for our interests or standing for what's best for me and mine, ours. If you have no fear of God, you have no love of God in your heart, and you've exemplified that over and over again, I can't be with you. I can't be with you. I can't be with you.
I feel the same way about this. Just imagine they drove these documents from Washington on a truck down to Mar-a-Lago. They stopping at Quick Trips and Roy Rock. I felt about Al Sharpton. Sharpton came to Augusta when Mr. James Brown died, and they put him in a coffin and drove him up to, didn't fly him, but they drove him from Augusta, his body from Augusta to Harlem, to lay in repose at the, lay in state there at the famed Apollo Theater. And I just imagine that on that trip, they stopped at gas stations, and stopped for breakfast at the IHOP and all that on that. Got James Brown out in the parking lot, folk coming by James Brown out in the parking lot while you were at the gas station and all this. I feel the same way about this than I felt about that. I felt that was terrible, that they didn't just put James on a plane and fly him up to New York, got driving him around in an undignified way. Folk pulling up James Brown at pump number 13 right next to you and didn't fly him up there. I feel the same way about that. It's them driving these documents around. Can you imagine that you sitting at pump number 13 and at pump 12 are all the security codes and all this information about what America is doing and not doing, who they're watching, who they're not watching, who they're strategizing against, who they're going to attack, who they're preparing to attack, who they're trying. All of that information is just in the truck. It just boggles the mind.
Well, it boggles the mind, and you know what? I think his former attorney general said it best. He was wrong. He was wrong. It ain't nobody's fault but his, because he did it to himself. And on that note, we want to tell you this ain't been nothing but Straight Talk with yours truly, Greg Fann and Shannon E. Jones. And we'll see you next week. Hey, if you like what we said, you like the program, and you disagree with what we said, well, hey, let us hear from you. We love to hear from you. Go out to Straight Talk News at Straight Talk News 1362 at gmail.com. And if you have news and information that you want to share with Miss C, let's send that to Straight Talk News 1362 at gmail.com. But a charlatan is a charlatan. You'll know them by their works. The Bible said that. The Bible said you'll know them by their works. You'll know them by their deeds. You'll know them. And if you don't know by now, then you'll never ever know it at all. Right is right, wrong is wrong. And in the end, there is a place for those that are wrong. And there's a place for those that are right. And it's not jail either.
They just had James Brown. They just had James Brown at the pilot center, starving Marvin, just sitting there while
Lord
they
have mercy.
Water and Doritos, use the restroom. Just got
Lord have mercy. Lord
just
have
got
mercy.
the document, just sitting out there, just out the document.
Well, you don't want to watch them load the truck. But on that note, we're going to get ready to go. This ain't been nothing but what? Straight talk.
Just had him just sitting out at the starving Marvin.
Straight talk and real talk. Until next week, Shannon, until next week, only thing I can say is we'll see you on next week with more Straight Talk.
Want to be a guest on Straight Talk? Email Greg Fann at FANN922 at Comcast.net or call 404-308-0795. Join us again for another episode of Straight Talk with Shannon Jones and Greg Fann, the Preacher Man.